All right. It is 6:17. We'll go ahead and call session to order. We have, do we have anything to report out of closed session? We did not. Okay. That makes it easier not having the clerk. No actions taken. All right. So next we'll go ahead and do the invocation, followed by the pledge.
Extend our collective condolences to the families of those individuals that were aboard Malaysian Flight 17, recently destroyed by the Russian missile. We hope that world leaders will find lasting solutions to conflicts in many areas of the world, including the Ukraine and the Middle East. We appreciate those men and women in our own country and abroad, in all branches of the military, in our police, fire, and other guardians of the public who protect and serve us. And finally, we ask for a speedy recovery and the return of our own colleague, Nancy Padberg, and for all those who may be suffering from illness of one form or another. Thank you.
Okay, remain standing for our pledge to our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, next we have, let's see, pull up my thing here. We have public comments. So we have one public comment at this time. If we can have Dave Anderson to the podium, please.
Thank you so much, Honorable Trustees. I came here tonight to personally invite you to come and join us here at Saddleback College for performances of Godspell on August 1st and 2nd. These are going to be great community events that we have here on campus. They are free to the public, and we're inviting, of course, the public as well. But we'll have a special place for each of you at the performances on Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd. It's going to be a great event. Again, we're inviting the your whole families to come out and join us. We'll have some food trucks out there. We're inviting you to bring a picnic dinner if you'd like to do that as well. We'll have activities ahead of the performances, and some of the performances will be a little interactive as well. So bring out your picnic chairs and your picnic baskets and come out and join us on August 1st and 2nd. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, seeing no other public comments, we will move on to recognitions. We don't have any resolutions. We do have one commendation from Saddleback College President Todd Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. President, Trustees, Chancellor, and honored guests tonight. I'm very, I was going to say I'm thrilled. I'm not thrilled. In fact, it's the opposite. We want to recognize two very, very important people to our college and our district and their pending retirement. So I'm going to bring up the first one first. So if I could have actually Dean Flanagan, if you'd like to join us, and have Patti Weeks come on up. And let me tell you a little bit about Patti Weeks. Patti Weeks is walking up here, since we're short on time. She is retiring after 28 years of dedicated service to Saddleback College. Patti is our director of the Learning Assistance Program, otherwise known as LAP. And under her direction, Saddleback's tutoring program has absolutely flourished. Now known as the Tutoring Center, the program offers dedicated help to literally thousands of students each year and has resulted in demonstrated increases in our student success rates and persistent rates. I want to give you a few examples of some of the accomplishments that Patti has done over these last 28 years. First, as you know, she has a tremendous passion, and that's an understatement, passion for students and our success in our college. In fact, Patti and I sometimes feel like soulmates as far as we're both woos and very enthusiastic. She started her career actually in the tutoring program as a French tutor. Do you still speak French? Parlez-vous français?
Oui.
Ah, oui, oui. That's all I know. She first came to the center actually as a student seeking help at Saddleback College. She is noted on our campus for her infectious smile and positive attitude, as I alluded to earlier. Essentially, she is the foundation for our tutoring program. She has an open door policy that allows students, tutors, faculty, and staff to seek her guidance and support. She's developed a comprehensive tutor training program and class for our tutors. She organized our college's first tutoring conference that was designed to encourage and support student success. And frankly, she is going to be irreplaceable and will be a very big, tough act to follow. If you've been watching some of our reports, and the increases in our tutoring at the new Learning Resource Center have just been staggering, the increases. And as I said, Patti, you're going to be greatly missed. So here is a small token of our appreciation, a certificate of recommendation to Patti Weeks in appreciation of your dedicated service to Saddleback College.
Patti, would you like to say anything or recognize anybody here that's in support of you?
I am going to miss you all so much.
Well, we have another prominent member of our administration who's going to be retiring, and if I could please call up Terry Wedel. Terry Wedel is retiring after 36 years of dedicated service to Saddleback College. Terry was instrumental in establishing, as you probably know, KSBR Radio, which has enabled Saddleback students to learn and practice their radio and broadcasting skills so they can get into the world of broadcasting. But he has also become a beloved, or KSBR has also become, as you know, a beloved radio station for listeners in South Orange County and beyond. Let me give you a few examples of Terry's wonderful accomplishments these 36 years. KSBR went from a 10-watt campus-only station to a full-power station serving the entire South Orange County community under Terry's watch. KSBR has become the primary source of broadcast news and information for the South Orange County community. The Birthday Bash, which many of you, if not everybody, has been to, has grown from a small party in a hotel lounge, I didn't know that, to a major outdoor concert drawing musicians and attendees from around the world. KSBR now has listeners in more than 100 different countries. I don't know what FWIW is. Okay. In other words, we're the top five outside the U.S. Are Japan, France, UK, Canada, and Brazil. Saddleback has become one of the few colleges in California where students receive credit while receiving hands-on training at a full-power radio station. KSBR was the only student station in the country to receive multiple radio and records industry achievement awards as one of the top stations in its format. KSBR became a two-time winner of Best DJ in the National Student Production Awards and the only two-year college station to ever win the award. Saddleback College is developing a convergent media center designed to train the next generation of media professionals while providing the South Orange County community with a multi-platform source of news and information. And once again, convergent media means we bring in all media. So it's radio station, our TV station, journalism, online, all of it together and converging, which Terry and I know is one of my passions too, started getting us going in the right direction on that. So with that said, congratulations to Terry Wedel again for his dedicated 36 years of service.
I'm going to miss you too. No, this is a huge mistake. It's always the one thing I should have learned after 28 years is never follow Patti, because in one line she topped anything I could possibly say, just the way she said it. But the enthusiasm of people like Todd and Patti is obviously infectious. It permeates the campus. It extends down to the students, and it's what I'm going to miss the most.
Thank you. Okay. Next we have board reports. We'll start with...
We're going to go that way this time, right?
Oh, that's right. I did say I was going to do that. So Trustee Lang, you get to go first this time. Thank you for reminding me. Mike.
was not going to do a board report tonight, but instead what I'd like to do is use my time to stand up and give both Patti and Terry a standing ovation. And thank you both for all of your wonderful years of dedication to this district and to this college. Thank you very much.
Okay. Trustee Wright.
Again, dittos. I certainly will miss seeing Patti and Terry on campus. They've been wonderful, wonderful people, and we're going to miss them. So congratulations again on your retirement. It's not so bad. Let me report just on a few items that I have been to. The one thing I want to brag about for just a few minutes is I hope most of you have seen the board report by David Begay about an ACCA conference that was entitled, or an ACCA program called the Great Deans Program, that was held July 10th and July 11th up in Sacramento. This was a wonderful program in which they invited deans with anywhere from just being recently hired up to 5 years to come. There were 48 deans that came to that program to learn more about how to be an effective dean. Some of the things that they talked about were things like creating successful faculty relations, evaluating personnel effectively, supervising personnel, understanding enrollment management, and managing your budget. So, and I was honored to be there because I was a member of one of the panels on creating successful faculty relations, and it was a wonderful experience. And David Begay and Kevin O'Connor should be thanked for their participation. They're the ones who really started this program and led this program, and so my congratulations to them, and they are to be thanked. I want to report just very briefly, I had the opportunity to visit Nancy Padberg. She's in a emeritus, it's called, I wrote it down here, Emeritus Senior Living in San Juan Capistrano, and she's doing very well. So I was glad to see her. The other thing I wanted to mention very quickly is I had the opportunity to attend Hello Dolly on Saturday evening. Wonderful production. And I certainly enjoyed it and saw a number of friends and acquaintances that evening. And that's it.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do mine. Again, congratulations to the retirees. I don't really know what that word retire means. Someday I guess I will, but it sounds fun. So, and it looks fun. So great. And I also wanted to reiterate our wishes for Nancy to have a speedy recovery. And I had not had an opportunity yet to visit her because I was out of town during the time that she was seeing visitors, and I just got back. So we will try and take care of that. And I'm also going to use this opportunity as a government teacher. I'm going to teach some of you the word quorum. We do have enough people here to vote. We have 4. That's all we need. So from that, we'll move on to Trustee Jamal.
Thank you, Trustee Prendergast. Terry and Patti, congrats. Well earned, well deserved. Very impressive what you've been able to do here. Even though I've been here a short time, I've heard nothing but great things about you, both of you. I also saw Nancy, and she looked great. So I was very happy to see her last week. And like Trustee Lang said in his invocation, we're looking forward to seeing her back here on the podium. We miss her dearly. I attended the portion of the IVC Foundation retreat last week at the Duck Club, nice place operated, I think, by the Irvine Ranch Water District. And for those who don't know, most of you know, the foundations at Saddleback and IVC really supplement the resources that we have here at our disposal as a result of state property taxes and other funds. And they're really important to fund programs at both colleges and also provide scholarships to students. I was happy at the retreat that it was noted that IVC is #1 in the transfer rate in the state of California. That's excellent news. Happy to hear that. But the foundation laid down some pretty ambitious goals, very ambitious. And for those goals to be achieved is going to require sustained and significant leadership. And so, I'm sure you'll start hearing about those goals at both colleges and at the district level. And to really reach those goals, it's going to have to take a monumental effort on the part of everyone to achieve them. And certainly I want to be part of that, but just know that, the foundations are really important to what we do here. And I hope that if you're not already part of the foundation in some way, please try to join the effort, because those resources are very important to our colleges. Thank you.
Thank you. Student Trustee Correa.
Thank you, Trustee Jamal. So I did attend the Foundations Retreat at the Duck Club, and from a student's perspective, I thought it was certainly ambitious, like Trustee Jamal said, and it's high expectations of IVC. But, I wouldn't be surprised. We've set high expectations of our colleges throughout history, so I do believe that they can be met. It's going to require some work. Realistically, it will require some work. So, overall, we have to try our best to try and reach the goal, and I do believe that we'll make it. On that note, that's taken care of, thank God. I will be joining the CCCD student member election at San Francisco, and I will be headed out August 8th through the 9th. So in all efforts, I'm going to try to win the CCCD elections. So if you guys can please keep your hopes up and cheer for me. So I hope there's a speedy recovery for Nancy Padberg, and hope to see her soon here again. And congratulations on your retirement. Thank you.
All right. So next we have Chancellor's report.
The Chancellor's opening session is coming soon. Doesn't seem possible, but it is. It's Tuesday, August 12th at Irvine Valley College. And I wanted to remind everyone that the featured speaker at that meeting will be State Chancellor Bryce Harris, the State Chancellor of the Community College System. He's a wonderful speaker, and anybody who hasn't seen him, had the opportunity, I recommend you see that. He will, of course, focus on student success, and our two colleges, following his address, will be each giving an example of a good model that's been tried and working here. Following that opening session will be a groundbreaking ceremony at the Irvine Valley College for the A400 building. And continuing in our discussions at these meetings about student success, today we're having one on the Student Success Task Force. And we have three researchers here, one from Saddleback, one from IVC, and then District Services. And we'll hear a presentation on how our colleges are performing in comparison to statewide measures. So the board should look forward to that. That's all.
All right, thank you. So next we have College President's Report. So I guess we'll hear first from IVC Vice President Justice.
Thank you, President Prendergast and board members and Chancellor Portner. In addition to President Rockmore's report, I have nothing to add except congratulations to Terry and Patti, and a reminder of what my father-in-law said about retirement. When you retire, you never get a day off. So I just thought I'd add that comment. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
President.
Well, as Chancellor Portner had mentioned, the end of summer is rapidly approaching, and it's surprising. And we are all entering our crunch time in preparing for the beginning of the new academic year. We face a few challenges, just to let the board and people know. None of them are maybe too surprising, but not the least of which is meeting our enrollment targets. There are many factors that have strained our enrollments over the past year and on the coming years, and we are working tirelessly to get our enrollment numbers back to the levels desired and needed. And you'll be hearing much more about that. You'll also be hearing many other important issues, of course, at Saddleback's during our upcoming Professional Development Week. You may be hearing that. That's the same thing as Flex Week and In-Service. We now call it Professional Development Week. And that begins on Monday, August 11th. I invite all board members, our chancellor, and to attend at least one of our two major events at Saddleback. First is the President's Faculty Breakfast on Wednesday, August 13th, or the President's Classified Staff Luncheon on Friday, August 15th. Until then, please enjoy the rest of summer. And you heard about Godspell, but there's one more week left for Hello Dolly, so I encourage you maybe to get some tickets for that as well this weekend. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Associated Student Government reports. We'll start with Saddleback College, Associated Student Government.
Hi, I'm actually Nina Lavi. I'm the vice president, so I'll be filling in for Order
I knew it looked different.
Yeah, I was like, you're like, oh, that's not her. So we just finished up interviewing and adding 40 new members to the council and different committees, which is really awesome. It's the best turnout we've had. So we're already, getting ready for the school year, believe it or not. And we're going to be having our retreat the 12th and the 13th of August. And we're going to be focusing on team building and leadership skills and getting ready for the school year, which we're really excited about. Thank you.
All right, next, IBC.
Thank you. We also we had a really busy semester this summer, but we had managed to appoint the key members of our cabinet members, and right now we are planning for the Welcome Week, and the Welcome Week activities will be held for August 25th through 29th, and we're excited to announce that we're going to also have our first SIVC meeting for the fall semester, which will be held on Tuesday, August 19th. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next, we have any board requests for reports, and we have two. And these come again from the listening sessions that we had, correct?
Not enrollment management.
Oh, that one came from?
That one came from Marcia.
From Marcia, who's not here. Are we going to do it anyway?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, if she's not here, she doesn't get to hear it. All right. That's who's presenting that? This is just a approval for a request for report.
Yes.
Okay, so we're just voting on this. Okay. So I guess I need a motion, or is it considered yeah, okay.
I've noticed that these have, we had designed this form to provide some information internally in terms of what it was going to take to prepare these reports, to be sure that we weren't putting an onerous burden on administration, but it looks like that part of the form is being left blank, and I'm just wondering what's happening with that.
It's probably just been forgotten, I suppose. But these two reports are not going to take a lot of staff time. The one on CTE and the one on enrollment management are ones that we knew were coming. So I think we'll be able to bring them back in a timely fashion, and in the future we'll fill out those spaces.
With that in mind, motion for approval.
All right, we have a motion for approval from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright, and we'll go ahead and vote on both collectively. Any objection to that? Okay. Okay, we have unanimous 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. Thank you very much. Next, we have discussion item 4.1, the Student Success Scorecard, where we get to find out how we're doing.
Yeah, I'm finished.
That is the fastest report ever.
That was the fastest I know. Oh, sorry. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Denise Enseong. I'm the District Director of Research Planning and Data Management. And I'm here with my colleagues, Carolyn Dordella, who's the Director of Research Planning and Accreditation at Saddleback, and Craig Hayward, Director of Research Planning and Accreditation at Irvine Valley College. So we're here to present the Student Success Scorecard. This is our annual presentation that we're required to do under AB 1417. I'm going to start with kind of an overview just on what we've done before, presenting the metrics to you, give you a little bit background and context, and then Carolyn and Craig are going to come up and actually go through the metrics, the key metrics. So the scorecard used to be called ARC, or the Accountability Reporting for Community Colleges, and they changed it recently to Student Success Scorecard. It contains metrics, and we're going to look at 5-year trends at IVC Saddleback against statewide averages. We're also going to give you some highlights in the presentation and how we're utilizing them in a broad way at the campuses. Just to go back, this is from AB 1417 back in 2004, and it's the accountability reporting, which is the basis for this new scorecard. The accountability reporting, or the scorecard, has 4 layers. There's the state of the system, which you can see in the full 200-plus report if you go onto the Chancellor's Office website, and it has overall performance at the state system level. We're going to focus on the scorecard, which is by college. It looks at each individual college and looks at progress and completion for key metrics and different student population groups. You can also, as part of AB 1417, look on the data mart, which disaggregates these metrics in a variety of ways, and you can drill down into the scorecard metric. And lastly, we're also able to use data on demand, which gives us unitary student data, and the research offices are able to look at that and match our students. So again, we're going to be focusing on the scorecard tonight. As in your packets, you'll see that it's pretty easy to go onto the scorecard at the State Chancellor's Office, and we had in the agenda sort of screenshots of all of the college's performances. Part of the college's profile, or I guess the whole set, there's a college profile, and I'll go over one new metric that they've added this year, which is a counselor-to-student ratio. There's 5 main scorecard metrics, and they're grouped into 2 categories. This year, they're calling them momentum points, which will show progress towards kind of an end goal. So we have under momentum points, it's organized by remedial progress rate for math, English, and ESL, persistence, and 30 units. Then they have another grouping of completion outcomes, which are degree and transfer outcomes and CTE, or career technical education. You'll also notice as you look in your packets that persistence, 30 units, completion outcomes have 2 subcategories. They're organized by students who are college prepared, and these are students where the lowest course attempted in math or English was a college level. And you also see that they're organized by unprepared for college, so students' performance whose lowest course attempted in math or English was at a remedial level. So that's sort of the organization of the metrics. And so we don't go into the college prepared and unprepared. That's in your detailed. We're going to be looking at the 5-year trends overall for those metrics. Just some highlights of changes. Every year, the State Chancellor's Office takes feedback from the field on what was good, what was bad. And one of the mandates was a college in the college profile, a student council ratio. And when the scorecard was initiated, they didn't have this at the time. And they brought together an advisory group to look at the metric. So in this scorecard, they have a student council ratio, which is based on student headcount and counseling full-time equivalent totals. It's a pretty intense metric because they're looking at what makes up a counselor FTE, a full-time equivalent. They're looking at work assignments. They're looking at the actual counselors who are working against an unduplicated student headcount for the fall, both fall and fall. So what you'll see in the slide is this is the first time this metric was put into the scorecard, and the statewide ratio is 17 to 1. 719 students per counselor. At Irvine Valley, it's 1,004 to 1, and at Saddleback, it's 705 to 1. So there's a lot of discussion out there, and we can go further at the end of the presentation if you need some more clarification around this metric. And lastly, just minor things, they enhance some of the display. They're able to show now the cohort sizes in the scorecard. And also they've masked some of the cohorts if the size is lower than 10 students. So that in a nutshell kind of gives you the context of what we're going to show you. And I think Craig Hayward is going to come up and walk through the first several metrics.
Thank you, Denise. Good evening, everyone. I'm Craig Hayward, Director of Research Planning and Accreditation at Irvine Valley College. And I'm going to go over a few of the metrics with you and then pass the baton to Carolyn. This first metric is sort of the flagship metric, if you will. It is the overall completion rate, and sometimes known as the SPAR, or Student Progress and Achievement Rate. And here you can see a fairly consistent trend at both Saddleback and IVC, well above the state average, which is the yellow line. This is one of the momentum points. So en route to completing, many students will accumulate 30 units. It's considered to be a key indicator of progress, and students are more likely to complete once they've accumulated 30 units. And so here you can again see fairly consistent performance at both of the colleges. A little uptick for IVC in this past cohort year. And these are 6-year cohorts, which is why the numbers at the bottom seem to be from the past, because that's when the students started, and then they're tracked for 6 years and allowed 6 years to accumulate 30 units. And another momentum point, overall persistence rates. And here we have Saddleback at the red bar along the top, very high persistence rates. There were some changes to the persistence rate calculation per input from the field and the scorecard advisory group, some improvements to enhance it to better account for students who complete or transfer within the time frame of the persistence metric measurement, which is 3 continuous terms of enrollment from the initial fall to the following spring and then the subsequent fall. IVC's persistence rate has just peaked up above the state average in this past cohort term. And with that, we're on to math remedial progress rate, and Carolyn will tell you about that. Thank you.
Hi, Carolyn Durdella, Director of Planning, Research, and Accreditation, Saddleback College. So I'm going to present to you the next 3 measures. They're all remedial progress rates. The first one is in math. The second one, I believe, is English, and the last one is ESL. And all of these metrics are calculated the same way with just a different course basis. So this metric is defined as the percentage of students, credit students, who start out at below the transfer level in either a math, English, or ESL class, and who go on to successfully complete a college-level course in that discipline within a 6-year time period. So that's what we're going to be reviewing for the next 3 slides. So the first slide is the math remedial progress rate, and the thing to note here is that both Saddleback and IVC perform above the statewide average for performance on this measure. There's a slight uptick at IVC, a little anomaly there in their data for, I believe it's 0506, but relatively stable progress for Saddleback, and that generally matches what's going on at the state. The next slide, we have English remedial progress rate, and again, it's the same metric as we had for math. And so you can see both Saddleback and IVC are well above the statewide average in this metric. So what that means essentially is that students at both Saddleback and IVC have a higher rate of moving into those college-level courses than students do statewide. ESL remedial progress rate, this is kind of the same story as it was last year. We have performance at both Saddleback and IVC that is slightly below the statewide average in this particular metric. However, at both Saddleback and IVC, I believe some of the same trends in the student population are true. And for that, it is we have a higher concentration of students that are over the age of 25 in this particular metric, and those students have lower progress rates than students who are traditional age students. And then the last one I have is the overall CTE completion rate, and here you can see the state line is in the middle. It is relatively stable with only slight fluctuations of 1% or less over the course of the last 5 years. You can see Saddleback's performance has been also relatively stable. We've had a slight downtick from the previous cohort to the current cohort, and IVC's had an uptick. So we're all kind of converging on the statewide average here. So that's what's going on there. Oh, and this one, I should explain what it is. It's actually the percentage of students within a cohort who have concentrated in a specific CTE discipline. They've completed at least 8 units in the single CTE discipline, and that within 6 years, they've transferred, earned a degree or certificate, or become transfer prepared. So that's the CTE completion rate. They have to have concentrated in a single CTE discipline to be in that cohort. So this is a shared slide with Craig. So overall, you can see that the performance at Saddleback is pretty good. We outperform the state at-wide average on 5 of the 7 measures, and we perform at the statewide average on 1 of the 7 measures. So 6 out of 7 were at or above statewide performance. And again, for the ESL progress rate, our cohorts are influenced by the cohort size, which is relatively small population at Saddleback, and the age distribution among that cohort.
And just a couple of points, highlights from the IVC metrics. One is, of course, that the overall completion rate is very high and it's worth mentioning. And the overall performance of IVC relative to the state average is excellent as well, outperforming the state average on 6 out of 7 of the metrics. And we're very happy to see the ESL remedial progress rate improving greatly from last year. There's been a lot of focused work in this area as part of our Basic Skills Initiative, and we do believe that it's starting to pay off. Time will tell. If we continue to improve next year, we're eager to see. We feel that the work that the ESL faculty have done in this area is really helping the students. And we'll move on to the next slide. Just a quick mention that the scorecard metrics are being included in our strategic planning and in our continuous quality improvement efforts, and you will see them showing up as key performance indicators or KPIs in the district-wide strategic plan. And that's all, and we're available if you have any questions.
Okay, I have a request to speak from Trustee Jamal.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I had a couple questions. I just want to understand one of the changes in the scorecard, one of the first slides where you talk about the student counseling ratio. So am I to understand this correctly that at IVC there's 1 counselor per 1,004 FTE? Yes? And then, and at Saddleback, go ahead.
It's per actual student, so it's not FT, not full-time equivalent, but okay. 1,000 for bodies, people.
1 per, yeah. Thank you. Try to find the slide.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then in terms of completion rates for IVC, Saddleback in the state, we're all obsessed with rankings. I'm just wondering, I know you have IVC at 63% and Saddleback 57%. Where do we rank vis-a-vis our peers around the state?
You caught me off guard. I usually update my rankings every year. I have not had a chance to update the rankings, but last year, Saddleback was in the top 10 on that one, I believe, and I have to go back and double check. And IBC, I think, was, weren't you number one?
That's our transfer rate is number one, but this year we're fourth in the state on the SPAR, and I believe Saddleback was in the top 10, as I recall.
Okay, thank you. And just one final question. Just curious, so the English remedial progress rate for IVC had a fairly significant decline. To what do you attribute that?
Yeah, that was a really tricky one. I spent some time teasing that out, and the short story is that it all began back in 2007. So when we changed over the writing conference course, we brought writing 280 on, and it superseded writing 180 largely, although they ran concurrently for a period of years. But the bulk of students moved into 280. The significance of that is that writing 180, the way it was constructed, is transferable to the CSU and is degree applicable. So, and it's open to any student taking any level of writing. So any student who passed this pass, no pass class actually would look to the scorecard like they were completing the sequence, because the way the sort of the quirks of the way the scorecard metric has been set up. So we're in correspondence with the Chancellor's office to try to fix that and continue. We're going to tweak, hopefully tweak that metric so that it's not so misleading. So the bottom line, or is that the trend line is probably what you're seeing for the first data point and the last data point are probably the truer measure, and the middle three data points are inflated. So if you can mentally draw a dashed line between the first and the last, that's the trend line, or that's going to be closer to the actual trend line.
So when you get the actual number, you just let us know.
Okay.
Come back to us. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, I just had one question that may lead to a follow-up. Who compiles all the data? Is it us submitting it to the state, or does the state look at our numbers and then get back to us on what they have?
I can provide a partial answer to that. We have a system of reporting called the Management Information System, and all community colleges across the state are required to report information through this MIS system. And we're required to report them. Some of them are on an annual basis. We report student information, student files. Some of them are on a term basis, right? So grades, program awards, for example, course-based information, all of that gets reported to the state in accordance with the calendar that the state has set. And it's from that management information system, that reporting system for all of the community colleges, that the state calculates and derives all of these rates for the entire state.
So then I guess that does leave to my follow-up. Do you find, taking into account there's probably a learning curve of a new system, do you find that this is going to be more labor-intensive or easier than the old ARC?
In my opinion, and my colleagues might disagree, I think it's about the same. I think what becomes challenging with these systems is that you have to keep up with all of the changes, because some of them can be very subtle, but they have substantial implications for your performance on the metrics. And it's a very public document. So say, for example, you have some coding changes to your courses and you're not following along with what those coding changes might mean for your performance. It can spell a public display of performance that's not necessarily accurate.
Perfect. Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing no other requests to speak, thank you very much for your time. All right. Next, we have the consent calendar items. Do I have any polls from the consent calendar?
Yes. Oh.
I'd like to pull one.
Trustee Jamal?
Yes. Sorry, 5.7 and 5.9.
Okay, so I have 5.7, 5.9. Trustee Wright?
I'd like to pull 5.11.
5.11. Seeing no other polls, do I have a motion for the remainder of the consent calendar?
So moved.
All right, so I have a motion from Trustee Jamal and a second from Trustee Lang for the remainder of the consent calendar. Ready to vote? We have 4 unanimous yes votes, 3 absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. All right, so we'll look at 5.7 first, which is the A400 design building project.
Yes, we had some discussion today about this. I see Kim, you're here in Deborah's place. That's fine. I just wanted to, if you could tell us the rationale for the increase in the dollar amount, and I also believe this is our first design build contract. So I wanted to know how you feel about that process and what are the lessons learned.
So it looks like we have Brandy Delana to answer that question right over there.
I'll be looking at you.
Hi.
You were going to defer there anyway, right? Okay.
She's like, no.
So your first question, I believe, was what is the justification for the increased value on the project? So I'm going to take it backwards and do your second one first. This is our first design build project. And so it's our first time going through. We're learning some lessons. What we're asking you for is to permit us to add this dollar value into the contractor's contract, but we're not asking you for an increase in the project value. The project budget holds the money for this increase. The increase specifically is related to the items that are shown in your Exhibit A, and it's for items that were outside of the original request for proposals. Design build is a lot different from design bid build in that we need to define very early in the process what is required of the contractor. So we don't spend a whole year with the architect defining that. We define it in a document that the contractor then provides us a proposal to. Being our first experience, there are some holes in it, and one of those that I think we'll fix in the future is that we were not as clear as we could have been about the aesthetic desires for the building. So you will see in the list here things like add brick to the exterior of the campus. There were some requests from faculty to have there be doors at the faculty office that were not defined in the RFQ, and so on. Some of them are improvements to the overall systems. For instance, the roofing system that was defined in the RFQ, it was determined that if we upgraded it, we'd have not a 20-year warranty, but a 30-year warranty, and that would be a better value for the building. And when we got to the end of the design process, we had quite a list of items this big that went to this big that we're recommending to you as best value items for the building. At the end of the day, we'll have a better value of a building. What I'm really excited about and shared in the email correspondence was that in an upcoming update for the board, we're going to share with you the per square foot costs of the building in comparison to other buildings that we have built in the past and other buildings that are being built right now. And our per square foot cost building price is amazingly wonderful. So what we're proving is that the system has indeed become a best value for this district. I think I've answered both your questions. Okay.
So if I can just clarify, in the past, before design build, we would get change orders that the contractor would come with us saying, oh, we need more money to do this. This is us going to them saying, hey, we need you to do more, and we're approving that.
Well, it's more of a, yes, in a way, but on the other hand, it's more of a collaborative process. Okay. Because during the design, we would look at things in the RFQ that we thought that we wanted, and the contractor would say, you know, if you think about this, you're going to get a better value for your project if you consider this alternative. So the value that we're finding on the building is a result of both of our efforts together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no other requests to speak, if we can have a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion to approve from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. We'll go ahead and vote. We have a unanimous yes vote, 3 absent, and 1 student advisory yes. Okay, next we had 5.9, authorization for district-wide institutional memberships.
Yeah, so the reason why I pulled this item is I think this item deals mainly with our memberships, our dues that we pay to various professional and business association, business leagues. And I'm a big supporter of associations. I think they benefit us in terms of professional development, relationship building, outreach into the community. They're really important. But as I had raised in the past, I want to ensure that we are not paying multiple dues to associations from, both colleges and or the district if we don't have to do that. And it wasn't clear to me in this document here whether that's the case. And I'm not advocating for pulling any membership from any association specifically. I just want to assure that for those associations that we're members of, that we don't see duplicative membership dues being paid to those entities if we don't have to do that. Because my understanding previously from Vice Chancellor Fitzsimmons that there were some savings that we could accomplish through this process, and it wasn't clear to me in this document that we're accomplishing those savings. So I don't know who from the administration wants to comment on this.
I could comment a little bit. I know that President Rockmore and I and our administration tries to, on occasion, and when we see a membership come up, to see getting a district-wide. I know I do. I think you guys do, too. I think we do at the district services level. Now, what we haven't done, and probably is a good suggestion, is probably looking at it more precisely and doing a comparison back and forth to see ones we have not covered. So I think it's a good suggestion. I certainly have no problem taking that on and working with IVC and the district services to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I have a request to speak from Trustee Lang.
Yes, just real quickly, one of the other things that I do know, though, that are many of these institutional memberships can only be done on a per college basis rather than through a district membership. And so there is going to be some natural overlap among organizations.
No, I agree. That excuse me. That's why I was saying that when we can accomplish non-duplicative memberships in the cases where it's not a requirement for each college, then let's accomplish that.
All right. Seeing no more requests to speak, if I can have a motion. All right. A motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Go ahead and vote on the item. We have unanimous yes with 3 absent and 1 student advisory yes vote. Next, we have 5.11, Academic Calendar. Trustee Wright, you
I'm the
pulled
one
this?
that asked that,
Yes.
that be pulled and looked at. Again, I have some concerns about the calendar, particularly in the spring. I noticed the fall semester for 2015 looked pretty good. The only concern that I have there is that Thursdays, we only have 15 Thursdays, whereas Mondays, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, we have 16, but that's not a big problem. But I'm real concerned about the spring semester 2016. I notice again that we start after Martin Luther King's birthday, and then we finish towards the end of May. Graduation's on the 24th. How does this affect, for example, the veterans and some of the nursing classes that have to start earlier? I still worry about that. I know this is it. We're only studying this now, and it's just going to be accepted for review and study. But I'm still concerned.
Todd?
Yeah, actually we have our 2 vice presidents of instructions, both Kathy Worley and Craig Justice here, and they can probably comment since they spent much more time on this. But those issues and, of course, discussions did happen, so I think it's only fair that they can respond to that. Do you want Kathy or you to go first on that?
I can go. So both colleges got together, and I think this can be confirmed quite readily by the Senate presidents as well. The count of days, there's no day that has less than 16. So remember, final exam days get counted as days of instruction. In addition to that, we were addressing the concerns of the veterans as well as the nursing. And it was actually the Saddleback calendar that prevailed, and so that comprehended solutions to those problems. And if Dan or Kathy Schmeidler would like to speak to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, Craig's spot on that. That was one of the key discussions, is how this would affect the veterans and nursing, among other things. And it's, for lack of a better description, it's the calendar we used last year, the calendar we used this year, move forward with this schedule. And it minimizes the impacts on those 2 programs that they they can work with at the colleges. And so that they were part of the discussion, and they were actually advocating for, of the alternatives that were put forward, this is what the nursing and veterans at Saddleback College were advocating for.
One of the concerns I have, because starting a week earlier would solve some of that problem. I mean, starting on, say, the 11th of January rather than...
I'll let my counterpart address that aspect of the question.
I guess I have two things. Kathy Schmeidler, president of the IVC Academic Senate.
Sure.
Two things to respond. First of all, this went through extensive conversation with a district-wide committee that was comprised of members, as per the board policy, from all three of the units, from both colleges and from district services. And we followed the district policy in terms of having multiple meetings with the right constituency. So the proposal comes out of the appropriate process, a very collaborative process. IVC has somewhat different concerns from Saddleback, and this was a compromise calendar that addresses some of the IVC concerns about starting later. We have some real problems with our enrollment, had some problems with early start dates for our enrollment, and we also have at least some interest in the possibility of offering very short kinds of courses in January. Starting later, even later than this, would have made that easier, but this is the minimum amount of time to even try some of these projects that there's some interest for. So there are concerns at both colleges that need to be addressed, and this is the compromise.
The other thing that I was concerned about is that in the summer you only have 11 weeks, whereas in the past we've had 12 weeks, except for this year, I know.
Well, except for the past several years. In large measure, my understanding is that that having only one, having 11 weeks or 10 weeks, as it has been also, and not permitting two 6-week sessions back to back, which we had several years ago, was in part a response to the FTES cap that we've been working under for the past several years.
Okay. I just concerned. I mean,
having two back-to-back 6-week sessions is very useful in the summer.
Yes, it
when
is.
when we can offer enough courses to make both of those sessions worthwhile.
Right.
But with the FTES caps that we've been working under, there was really no reason to have that many summer sessions, at least for the past several years.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Worley, did you want to add to that? Can you please come to a mic? There's an open one right there. Or, yeah.
Nursing does need to start earlier, and their clinicals will begin, as they have been, right after the break in January. So we're working now with the Faculty Association, and they're negotiating some extra duty days. This does mean that the people who are teaching both nursing and non-nursing courses will work 2 weeks longer than the rest of the faculty.
Okay. And then maybe I have a question that got cleared. It was kind of alluded to, this is now going to would be the third year of kind of making this shift. The assumption is, once change is established, it's hard, but then it kind of rolls along. This is moving along then, and you're seeing positive result of that, or yes?
Well, we've had, as Trustee Wright has alluded, we've had some issues in the last 2 years in terms of having the right number of days of each of the kinds of Monday through Saturday days, and this version resolves those issues that we've been wrestling with the last 2 years. So this is more or less what we've had for the last 2 years, but an improved version that rectifies those problems. IVC still has some interest in the possibility of a January session, which would address, of course, the veterans' concerns, not the nursing school's concerns, about having a long gap between the two semesters. And so it's the idea at IVC that we'll pilot some of those ideas this year with a shorter January or not in for the next couple of years. This brings us forward 2 years, and see whether there really is interest and whether those things are useful to our students and to the college as a whole, because that would also, in some measure, counterbalance having only one. Well, it's not that we have only one summer session, but not being able to have two summer sessions.
Great. Seeing no further requests to speak, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. Got a motion from Trustee Jamal, second from Trustee Lang. Go ahead and vote on the item. 4 unanimous yes votes and 3 absent and 1 student advisory vote. And again, that was for review and study. So, all right. Next, we have 6.1. Do we have a presentation on that or a motion to approve? No? All right. I have a motion from Trustee Jamal. Second from Trustee Lang. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. I have 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes. 6.2, Technology and Applied Science Building Renovation. Do I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Any presentation or discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote on the item. 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes. Item 6.3, Student Service Center Air Handling Unit Replacement Project. Do I have a motion to approve? I have a motion from Trustee Jamal.
Second.
Second from Trustee Wright. Any presentation or discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote. 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.4, Lighting Retrofit for Roadways, Walkways, and Parking Lots Project. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Do we have a presentation or discussion on this item? Seeing none, go ahead and vote. Trustee Jamal. 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes. 6.5, School of Humanities and Languages and School of Library Services Realignment. I have a motion from Trustee Jamal. Second from Trustee Wright. Is there a presentation or discussion? Seeing none, go ahead and vote. 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.6, name change to School of Fine Arts to School of the Arts. Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Wright. Any presentation or discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.7, board policy revisions for review and study. I have a motion to accept for review and study from Trustee Lang, a second from Trustee Jamal. Any presentation or discussion? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on the item. 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.8, authorization of payment to Trustee Absent from board meeting for Trustee Padberg. Second. Okay, motion from Trustee Lang, second from Trustee Jamal. No request to speak or to session. Go ahead and vote on the item. 4 yes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.9, Trustee Absent from board meeting, Trustee Wright.
Second.
No, he doesn't. I'll explain that. I'll give you another government lesson here in just a second. No, no, it works.
If he doesn't?
Yeah, I'll explain it why. All right. We have a motion from Trustee Jamal, second from Trustee Lang. Go ahead and vote on the item. Oh, no, you're supposed to abstain, actually. You still have a quorum because an abstention counts as a yes, but you are supposed to abstain from voting for yourself. We need to revote that. There's your government lesson right there. It's still a quorum. All right, go ahead and vote on the item, please. There we go. So we have 3 yes, 1 abstention, which counts as a yes, 4 no's, or 4 absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote.
Okay.
Thank you for playing along. 6.10. I have a motion from Trustee Jamal, second from Trustee Wright. Any discussion or presentation on this one? Okay, I do have a question from Trustee Wright.
I guess the only thing is I have a little bit of a concern here about increasing it fourfold, going from $20 a year up to $80 a year. I'm not opposed to maybe doubling it, but to go 4 times, I have some concerns.
Okay. Trustee Lang.
Pardon me, my only concern is to understand that this is also an item that's presently under negotiation in other contracts. And so theoretically, this could create a disparity between groups. I'm wondering whether this is something that needs to be approved tonight or whether we have some additional time for it.
Actually, parliamentarily, we need a motion before we can discuss.
Okay.
So I need a motion, but it can be a motion to not pass it, for example, or a motion to table it, or...
I think I moved that it...
We haven't moved this item yet. Oh, you did?
Okay.
And you seconded it?
Correct.
Boy, why did I miss that? All right. Never mind.
So
I'm
now,
going so fast, they're just melding together.
so now I'll ask my question from administration.
Okay. So then technically you could ask to amend the motion to be tabled or make a motion to table the item.
Trying to understand it first before I make that motion.
Right. Would it be reasonable to then, if we tabled it as kind of like a Me Too clause based on how negotiations
My question
result?
is how important it is for this item to be approved tonight.
Okay. So the question is, how does this need to be approved tonight? Who would like to take that?
By default, it looks like me.
Okay.
So I will do that, Mr. President. Anybody else wants to chime in, feel free, even though most of the people that have been working on this aren't here tonight. First and foremost, understand that the parking situation is certainly, particularly at Saddleback, but there are issues at IVC as well. It's been an ongoing issue for a very long time. Not the least of which, of course, is the funds that we have to pay for resurfacing and the parking operations of our campus. Our district has already been below average on our parking fees for a very long time. What you should be aware, and the board should be aware, is this is an issue that has been discussed on Saddleback in particular, and I believe at IVC has had in-depth discussions as well for a very long time. In fact, the parking committee that worked on this, refresh your memory, how many months or years? 2 years? 2 years to get to this point on this issue. One of the things, and I certainly, and I know the president is not here, I don't want to put them on the spot, but our associated student government and our student representatives have been most involved in this. In fact, interesting enough, our students have been the one most supportive of actually increasing the fees for student parking as well as for administrators and managers. As you already know, regarding classified staff and faculty, that is a negotiated item, so they're exempt from this particular situation. One of the things a comment was made up is the discrepancy in the disparity between the charges. That disparity exists right now. I believe personally, and I'll just say this outside of the process, I do not believe that it is fair that our students get paid less and have to pay more for parking than our administrators and managers. That's just my personal opinion, and that's why I supported this and made the recommendation to bring it forward, which came from our college 2-year process. In addition to all that said, is that, once again, this is just from $80 a year, folks, from $20. It's not a lot of money. And speaking on behalf of managers, administrators, and managers who are the highest paid people in our district, I think it's only fair and fitting that we pay a fair rate for our parking on this campus. And certainly, to not pay more than students is probably not a good, at least from a perception perspective, good. Anybody else would like to add?
Just real quick,
Yeah,
that's
sure.
a really good explanation, but I believe the question was, does this have to be decided tonight?
Oh, well, the point was, is we've been putting it on for 2 years. If you'd like to have another fertile additional report, no, it does not have to be done tonight, except for the start of the new semester is beginning, as
Right.
you know, in August. So that means we'd have to put it off.
Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Parking
So
permits will go on sale
for it
next
to
month.
go into effect, it would have to be done tonight. Got it. All right, so then I do have student trustee Carrillo.
So actually, I recommend that there is an additional report. I haven't heard the complete aspect of it. I know it's been going on for about 2 years now, but I haven't completely heard about what the student government plans to do with that increased fee. I am a little, I guess you can say, against students paying more than classified staff or any sort of staff members, and I'm a little, well, I'm scared of that. So I would like a more thorough report. So thank you.
Trustee Jamal.
I just wanted to see, Trustee Lang, was your question addressed? I mean, how, in terms of the impact on the CBA?
That's the effective fall. So,
pardon me?
That seems to be the urgency of the item, is that if we don't pass it tonight, it wouldn't be effective as quickly as administration is recommending to us. So I do understand that. Okay.
All right. So the motion on the table is to approve this. We'll go ahead and vote on the item. Oh,
just
sorry.
clarification. So if this is not agreed to this evening, so that it would be effectively put off for 6 months. I mean, what does it mean?
Well, actually, I believe the permit right now is an annual basis, correct? So really, it's put off almost a year. Again.
And if I'm hearing what you were saying, it's supported by the students, it's supported by the people that would be affected by it for the most part?
It went through our college process, I believe, at both colleges? Yes.
Okay, yeah. Kathy?
I believe this item is only about managers and administrators.
Right.
Correct.
The students have already been passed, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And the faculty, the other
other
various groups
associations
that have
are in
associations
negotiations.
are in negotiations, and that's a different.
But that's what I'm saying. For the groups that this would affect, there's agreement on it for the most part. This is not controversial. We're making it bigger. I understand it doesn't affect students, but it does in the sense that from the perspective that they are paying more than people who make a lot more money than they do. Okay. Okay.
We think.
All right.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and vote on the item. Okay, we have 3 yes, 1 no, 3 absent, and 1 student advisory no. What do absents count as?
Yes.
Yes votes, that's why I understand it. No?
No.
They're just not here? All right, so the item does not pass. The item does not pass. Right? Or it's 3 to 1. Still, okay, so you don't have to have the 4 to pass it. You just have to have the quorum to run the meeting. Yes, we're good. All right, it does pass. 3 to 1. Okay.
You're slipping.
Hey, I teach history, not math. All right. 6.11, correction to resolution 14.7, classified employee layoff. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion from Trustee Jamal. Second from Trustee Lang. Seeing no changes or discussion, go ahead and vote on the item. Trustee Lang. Okay, 4 yes, 3 absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. 6.12, academic personnel actions. Do I have a motion? No changes? Okay, I have a motion to approve from Trustee Wright, second from Trustee Lang. There are no changes. All those in favor, go ahead and vote. We have 4 yes votes, 3 absent, 1 student advisory yes. Last one, 6.13, classified personnel actions. No changes. I have a motion from Trustee Jamal, second from Trustee Wright. No changes, no discussion, no request to speak. Go ahead and vote on the item. We have 4 yes, 3 absent, and 1 student advisory yes vote. Reports, 7.1. We have a report on the student trustee member election. Is there anyone presenting this report, or? Okay. Trustee Carrillo? Student trustee Carrillo.
So, like I said earlier, I'm headed to San Francisco to California trustee student member elections for 2014. So I will be running against candidates in hopes of winning the title of student trustee member election. Most likely, I can anticipate a win. I can tell you right now, I'm pretty confident. So if you guys can just keep your hopes up high, and that's it. Cheer for me.
All right. 7.2, Saddleback College and Irvine Valley College speakers. Any questions on that one? 7.3, basic aid report. Any questions on that one? Seeing none. 7.4, facility plan status report. Seeing none. 7.5, retiree trust fund. Moving on then to reports from administration and governance groups, starting with Saddleback College Academic Senate.
Dan Walsh, Academic Senate President. Happy summer, everybody. It's relatively quiet for faculty, although I'm already preparing for the fall with updating my lectures and PowerPoints and handouts, and preparing for the in-service week that I hope to see all of you at, especially the teachable moment where I'll be presenting my vacation slides. If you've been to the Wednesday morning President's Report, President's Breakfast, you know what I'm talking about. Also, our condolences to those on the Flight 17, and best wishes for Nancy Padberg. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We don't have Claire here this evening, so Kathy.
Kathy Schmeidler, Academic Senate President, IVC. I would like to ditto what my colleague Dan said in terms of condolences to people on the Malaysian flight, as well as all the people we've been losing and continue to lose in the Middle East and other conflagrations around the world. And of course, to Nancy Padberg, we all hope to see her back here, chipper and participating soon. At IVC, again, it is summer, so summer session continues. People are teaching, people are preparing already for fall. And we also have a number of projects that can be done in the summer, larger projects, website revision and SharePoint, the inside IVC stuff. And we're also working on our student equity plan, which is going to meld nicely, I think, with some of our strategic planning discussions, accreditation discussions, and enrollment management. So we've got actually a pretty interesting package of projects going on over the summer.
Great. Associate Vice Chancellor, Economic Development.
Thank you, and no report tonight.
All right. Vice Chancellor, Technology and Learning Services.
No report this evening.
All right. Vice Chancellor, Human Resources.
The board already saw the written report about the ACA Great Deans program. That was actually a really good program, not because of the two people that coach here, but we assembled a fabulous team from across the state. So the 48 deans came from across the entire state of California from different colleges. One of the most unique and refreshing aspects of it, believe it or not, was a very quiet, soft-spoken gentleman named Trustee Jim Wright. We had an entire segment dedicated to the number one topic, which was faculty relations. It was really good to have somebody that's a former dean get up there and talk to the next generation of deans coming up, and using some words such as integrity and caring about people. And that is really good to hear coming from somebody with that experience. So what a fabulous trait of this Board of Trustees to have somebody like that to talk. So I thought that was a high point. I don't know if the audience did, but that was clearly the only time I've ever heard anybody talk about leadership and using those two words in community colleges in the last couple of years. So thank you, Trustee Wright. That was very well spoken.
All right. Vice Chancellor, Business Services. No report. No report. Irvine Valley College Classified Senate.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Vincent Cooper, President of the IVC Classified Senate. Looking forward to next week's leadership retreat at the Doug Club. Thank you very much.
All right. California School Employees Association.
Scott Ferguson Green, CSEA President, Chapter 586. Thank you very much. Just a couple of things. First of all, we are looking forward to working with the colleges as far as trying to assist in student success, and a lot of that has to do with personnel and some of the work duties that depend on classified personnel. Also, too, we have in 2 weeks the annual CSEA conference. Myself and 3 other delegates will be in attendance, and we're going to be discussing many issues that really concern all of us statewide. So hopefully when we return, we'll have a report for the Board of Trustees.
Great. Saddleback College Classified Senate.
Good evening, Mike Sauter, Classified Senate President for Saddleback College. Just one item to report. This week, our executive team will be having our annual planning retreat. And this is our retreat where we come together with our new officers and our old officers from the previous year. And we are focusing on team building, event planning, and Senate activities for the next year. And that's coming up on Friday. So hope you all enjoy the summer, and we wish Trustee Padberg a speedy recovery. Thank you.
Great. And then we have, I lost my thing here. We have an adjournment in memory of someone, don't we? It's not listed up here. Do you have it? No. Well, while I'm looking it up, I will say, because I see him in the audience, it turns out I do like kumquats. I don't like assignments, but I like kumquats. Do we have it? I know I had it. Is a Saddleback student Aaron Freely? There it is. Okay, so we are adjourning in memory of Saddleback student Aaron Freely. Thank you and good evening.